And here we are, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Dr. Dwayne Wood. And man, we are still in the fast. I am right now, let's see, how many hours is that? 48 plus 5, 53 maybe hours away from the start of the fast. That means we've just got a little while more for this 72-hour fast that we are in. And I wanted to come on and give a check-in, just like we normally do. You know how we do it here. We do a check-in. I am in the midst of the fourth fast for this last 4 weeks, maybe. And I want to share some tips and tricks for having a successful fast. This year, new year, new you is what we're working on. And that is our theme. We are in the entire year going to be talking about how do we get control of diabetes. In fact, our goal is putting our diabetes in remission. What does that mean? That means that some of you are going to get off of medication. Some of you are going to cut your medication significantly. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And part of that is this tool that we've been using, the very first tool that I've taught you so far, and that is fasting. And so over the last couple of weeks, as you've seen, I have been coming on. I've been doing the 72-hour fast. That's what I'm doing. I am not asking you right now to do a 72-hour fast. That's right. So for you, I've challenged you. If you've been following us, I've challenged you to work your way up to a 24-hour fast. Wherever you are right now, we want to move in the direction where you can do a 24-hour fast at least once a week. Now, the question that people ask is, why fasting? Why does fasting work? And if you've not done so, go back and watch our initial show on the fasting. That was 2 weeks ago on our YouTube channel. And actually, I'll pull that up here in a minute. But you can go back and you can watch those. And the fasting is an amazing thing. Fasting allows the body to begin using the energy that we've already put in. A lot of us have some excess energy that we can use. So it allows the body to begin using that. It allows us to decrease our blood sugar during the time when we're fasting. We're not putting anything in, and so the blood sugars begin going down. When blood sugars go down, insulin goes down. When insulin goes down, we have a tremendous amount of benefit. Anything from dealing or treating our obesity, that's weight, treating metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, decreasing our risk for coronary artery disease, and on and on and on and on. So decreasing insulin has a tremendous benefit. And one of the best ways of doing that is through fasting. So I have, as usual, I have my sensor, my meter, and my strips over here that we're going to be talking about here in just a little while. And going through that information, I have my meters that I will show you as the Dexcom and the Libre, so that you can see what those numbers are. And of course, we'll look at our ketones, and that's what our meter over here is going to show us, ketones and our glucose. All right. But before we get there, let's hop over. I would like to share with you some tips for a successful fast. How do we have a successful fast? And you know this one was coming, right? This one was coming up. Listen to your body. First thing we want to do is make sure that we are paying attention to what our body is telling us. A lot of us are not used to hearing the information that the body is giving. Right. So the body gives us signals as you're getting ready to go into the fast. You may not be feeling well. You may have a cold. You may not have had enough sleep. You may not have, and so you may not be well hydrated. So if your body's saying to you at any particular time as you're getting ready to start a fast, or even in the middle of the fast, then it's time to say, okay, this is not a good time for the fast. Either we need to postpone it for a few days, or if we are in the fast, we need to break the fast and move to something else. Okay. Remember, we've got a couple of things We've got a couple of things that more than a couple of things that we want to do with the fast, but we want to make sure that we are being safe. Okay, so make sure that you are listening to your body as you are getting ready to get into the fast. You want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. And you guys, if you've been following me, you heard when I said that I made a mistake. I think it was one of the very first fasts that we did. I was not doing a good job of maintaining hydration. Actually, let me hop over here for just a second. I need to take this glare out of my face. So I was not doing a good job of maintaining my hydration. And so even though I made it through the fast successfully, I could have gotten into some trouble if I was not, because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so make sure that you're staying hydrated, that you're drinking an adequate amount of fluid, that you're drinking an adequate amount of liquid, right? Want to make sure that you are doing a good job of that. Okay, so 1, listen to your body. 2, stay hydrated. You want to make sure that you are starting low and go slow. What does that mean? I'm in the middle of a 72-hour fast. 72-hour fast. That's where I am. But that's not where you necessarily need to start. Now, here's the thing. There are some people out there who your medical condition is of such it is an emergency, right? It is urgent that you correct some things immediately. And so you may have to do an extended fast, like right off the bat, like jump from jump, you're fasting, right? There are some programs that will take someone in and fast them for a long period of time, for an extended, I shouldn't say long, extended period of time, even on their first try, because we've got some things that we've got to correct so that we can get you to be able to do the things. For instance, if you need to go to surgery, or you've had a stroke, you've had a heart attack, you've had some other medical condition, once you are over the acute phase of some of that, then we say, hey, yeah, we need to hit the ground running. Okay, we need to immediately begin putting some things in place so that we are maintaining or getting the good health that we need. Okay, so start slow. Then we want to set clear goals. Understand why you're fasting. Is this for general health, overall health? Is this for blood sugar management? Is this for weight, right? The clear goals that you have, if you have those goals, then you'll be able to kind of deal with some of the things that may come up as you are fasting. But if you don't have clear goals, then first of all, we don't know, are we being successful in the goals that we have set for ourselves? Okay, so set clear goals. And then, so set clear goals, right? Those are the let me back up and say, if the goals are not clear, right? And we've talked about SMART goals on this channel before. If the goals are not clear, then we don't have a way to track them, and we don't know when we are successful. Okay. The other thing you want to do is you want to plan, right? Plan your schedule according to your fast. So don't plan to fast at a time when there is high stress, when there is lots of moving parts. You guys are in the middle of a move at your house, or new position on the job, or any of those types of things, because remember that the fast requires, we need you to be at your best. We need you to be at your peak as much as possible. Okay, so choose a time for fasting when you can have a more relaxed schedule, reducing physical and mental stress. Because if you don't do that, then we get in trouble. Okay, so plan your schedule. We also want to make sure that you are being mindful. What does that mean? As you are getting ready to break the fast, be mindful as you're reintroducing food. Yeah. A lot of times we think that the fast is the main thing, and then we can just do whatever we want. Well, your body adapts, particularly when you're doing an extended fast. Your body adapts, and so you want to make sure that as you're beginning to reintroduce food, that you're doing so in a mindful way. And we'll come, and you may have seen on one of the check-ins where I went ahead and I talked about the foods that I'm going to eat as I break the fast. Begin planning. What am I going to do? What am I going to do in terms of reintroducing food after my fast? Okay. So you want to be mindful as you're reintroducing the food. Then I want to make sure that you are keeping a journal, y'all. Document. The journal sets a path for you because it allows you to, it tells you where you're going to go. You have what your goals are, your why. You have the documentation through the fast. You have the plan for breaking the fast. You have the plan for reintroducing. Now you can go back and you can look at that and you can compare this one to what you did last time. And if things didn't quite go the way you want them to go, you say, hey, this is what I did last time, and I have a documentation of that. So you tweak something and you get better. If you're not documenting, then everything is new or most things are new. Okay. So make sure that you're keeping documentation, make sure you're keeping a journal, and that will serve you well. And then remember that not everything works for everybody. And let me move myself out of this one. So, okay. So remember, each fasting experience can be different. And what works for one person may not work for another. These tips offer a framework, a simple framework for a safe and effective fasting experience. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is kind of a framework. I wanted to make sure that I gave some little tips for you as you are embarking on your fast. And many of you are getting ready to begin moving in the direction of extended fast, right? So a little bit more prolonged. The challenge that I've given is that for everyone who's following me, everyone who's watching, everyone who's on this journey with us, that you work your way up to being able to fast for 24 hours. Okay, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So let's hop over and let's see what our meters are showing. And remember, I am in, let's see, 11:30, so 50, so 48 plus, yeah, so 54 hours, y'all. Yeah, 54 hours in my fast. And let's take a look at what my meters are saying. And this one that we're looking at first is the Dexcom. So the Dexcom says that my blood sugar right now is an 83. Now I want you to remember, this is 50 plus hours, 54 hours into the fast, and my blood sugar is still 83. Right? If we look at the Libre says that blood sugar right now is 73. And if you look at the graph, actually, I'm going to pull up a bigger graph. Let's take a look at this one. And this is the Libre. Let's see. Let's do it this way. This is the Libre 3 generating my report right now. That should be coming up. Here we are. So let's take a look. All right, and so this shows a report for the last 2 weeks, from the 13th to the 26th. You'll see here as I point out. Let me get my pointer so you can. There we go. Okay. So what are we looking at? So average blood sugar is 95. Our glucose management index is 5.6. That tells me about what we think the A1C will probably be. Looking over at our graph over here, you'll see that in target 91% of the time. And the target is between 70 to 180. Right? I am having some lows, so about 9% lows. And let's scroll through and let's take a look at the actual tracing. So today is the 25th, and I have been fasting since right about here. Okay, so fasting through this time, and we are now right at 11:30. Right, so a half an hour to go before we get to midnight. So that's the fasting that I've done so far, and I am going to break the fast. Okay. Oh no. So I apologize. So I started. Yeah. So let's get rid of that. So I started the fast here, and I fasted all that evening. I fasted all Wednesday. I fasted all Thursday, y'all. Okay, and so right now we are just about to get to midnight. So I'm gonna break. Stop moving up. So I'm gonna break the fast, and let me get rid of those lines, and come and show Friday. So Friday I'm gonna break the fast right in here somewhere. Okay, so 72 hours. Wow. Yeah, 72 hours. So let's go back and let's take a look at what's been happening with my blood sugar. So here, when I started the fast, the blood sugar, I don't know, maybe 110-ish, right? And so kind of straddled that line throughout the rest of that day. The next morning, about 120, dipped, and then gave a spike right there. We talked about that spike, that dawn phenomenon. That's the spike that you see when blood sugars, you wake up, blood sugars are going up because the body is pumping you full of hormones, right? Growth hormone, epinephrine, and what did I say? Growth hormone, epinephrine, cortisol. Okay, so there's that. And let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then let's scroll back down a bit. All right. And so now, blood sugars are going down. And right here, we're right at about 70. And then this morning, right? So look at that. So we're right around 70, and we have a little spike there, straddling 70. And look at that. It goes up again and kind of stays there throughout the day, and then starts to fall and fall and fall again. And then right here, we're right at about 70. Okay, so we'll see what that is. All right, so that is what the blood sugars are doing. Here right now, my Libre says I'm 74. And let's hop over, and as I normally do, we're going to actually check our blood sugar and our ketones using our meter. So let's go ahead and we're going to let's look at the blood sugar first. I want to see what that is on this guy, on this device. All right. So and here is my Lancet. And as you know, I don't use a lancing device. It is just what I do. Okay, and let's go ahead and get a drop of blood. That gets sucked in. And while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and massage another drop because we'll need a drop. So 80 is what my blood sugar is, according to the meter. And let's go ahead and grab our keto strip into our meter. And then apply our drop of blood. And let's see what that shows here in just a couple of seconds. All right, and there we are, 2.9. And let me hop over to the app. And that app is going to go ahead and read. It's going to pull that information in from the glucose meter. And so a glucose of 80 and ketones of 2.9, that gives me a GKI, or glucose ketone index, of 1.5. If you recall, for ketones, right, nutritional ketosis is 0.5 to about 1.5. Okay, so people who are trying to lose weight, people who are using the ketogenic diet, that's where you want. And then, of course, higher than that, we get what's called therapeutic ketosis, or therapeutic ketones. So let's back up and let's compare, right? So this is where we are now, and this is about 11:40. You'll see that time there. So just about 54 hours or so. Ketones are rising, because if I go back, this was, get rid of this message. If I go back to this guy, this was right at 12:06 p.m. this noon. My glucose was, there we go. All right. So let's hop back over to this graph. And you'll see there, the blood sugars, as the blood sugars have gone up, the ketones have gone down. And look at this point, right? So here, low ketones, high blood sugar. And when I say higher, not necessarily, some people look at 134 and say, that's not very high. Well, but high enough that my ketones at that point are going down, right? So ketones right there are 2.3. And look at this. As the blood sugar got higher, it was 1.7. Right here, when the blood sugar dropped, the ketones are 2. Blood sugar 134, ketone 0.8. And then look at the rest of the graph. As the blood sugars drop, the ketones are rising. And then look at where it's crossing, right? So this is 12:06 this afternoon. And right now, look at that. The ketones, let me get this graph. Oh, yeah. So the ketones have crossed, right? So ketones and sugars have crossed. So now my ketones are continuing to rise. So I would expect over the course of the next 12 hours, actually less than 12 hours. Well, let's see. So 6:45 in the morning. Yeah. So over the course of this next day, let me just say that, then I would expect the ketones to continue to go up, and I expect the blood sugar to continue to go down. At some point, the body has switched, right, from burning sugar to now using ketones. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of what we want to do. We want the body to, well, let me back up and say that the process that we're going through, we're doing several things. The main idea is to decrease the sugar in the body, decrease the amount of sugar that the body is using. And we, in that process, are improving our diabetes. So by not putting sugar in, by not putting carbs in during this fast, our blood sugar continues to go down, right? So number one, we're treating sugar. We're treating the blood sugar by not putting anything in. If the blood sugar goes down, then we've got benefit from the decreased insulin that comes from that process. And when we start decreased sugar and insulin, y'all, man, the sky's the limit, because now we start to hit all of those other syndromes, all those other conditions that are associated with elevated insulin. Right. One of the very first ones, and let me pull up for you where I was this morning. Right. And so that is one of the very first things that we begin to see, is we begin to see some weight change. And if we look at our trends, I want you to look over the last, I guess maybe 7 days or so. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, maybe 6 days. Then you'll see there the blood sugar, 197 up to 200, 201, 198, 195. Okay. Now, how do you think the numbers are changing? Those numbers are changing because as we get further into the fast, right, we're burning what? We're burning calories. Where are those calories coming from? The calories are coming from the fat that the body is having to break down so that it could provide energy, which brings me back to the question that a lot of you have asked is, if you're not eating, why are the blood sugars not going low and staying low? And the answer to that is that the body, once it finishes using the free sugar that's in your bloodstream, then it goes to the liver and breaks down glycogen. That takes about 24 hours. And then after it breaks down glycogen, the body still needs to survive. It still needs to live. And so now it goes and says, hey, I need to start breaking down some of these fat cells. And when it breaks down the fat that's in the cells, then it uses that for energy. And that's where we're seeing that the body can maintain actually pretty good numbers despite the fact that I have not eaten. And here's the thing. Right now, I don't feel low. I don't feel lightheaded. I don't feel dizzy. I feel actually pretty good. Right? That's the amazing thing. Because the body is using or producing energy from my stores. Okay? All right. So let's hop back over to this monitor. And so right now you see that the ketones and the glucose have crossed, and I'll come back as we get into tomorrow and talk about what the ketones are doing compared to what the sugars are doing. We'll have another thing. But yeah, so this is it, y'all. This is it. So as I was saying earlier, so the challenge for you, if you're watching and as you are going along with me, the challenge is to get to 24 hours of fasting. Work your way up. Like we said before, start slow, right? Don't just jump into it unless you need to. Start slow and work your way up to at least being able to fast for 124 hours. And we're doing that once a week. 24-hour fasting once a week, y'all. Okay? And during that time, we're going to talk about some of the amazing benefits that we get from the fasting. All right. And I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it. So blood sugars, we talked about 75 on the Libre. We've got 84 on the Dexcom. You saw the numbers from our glucose ketone meter. You see the glucose there, 80, and the ketones of 2.9. We've talked about what effect that's having on the weight. And for those of you who've not seen the graph, right? So that's where we were back in March, and this is where we are right now, right? So 240 pounds down to 195.4. 195.4. And well, we'll talk about some other things later, right? So that's our goal. Remember, this year, we're working, how can we decrease? How can we get rid of diabetes medications for our adults with type 2? And for a lot of people, how do we put our diabetes in remission? That's our goal. That's the plan. That's where we're heading. And this tool, fasting, is an amazing way to do that. Always make sure that you are talking with your healthcare provider before you embark on the fast. Make sure that you are, and we'll come back and talk more about this, but make sure that you are monitoring blood sugars, right? Monitoring the blood sugars as you're fasting, particularly if you're on medication, because at some point we're talking about how do we get rid of some of this medication. So we'll have to adjust the medication. Okay. So make sure that you're consulting with your healthcare provider. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure that you are, well, let me go back and let's run through those really quickly. Let's see. Let's get back over here. Yeah, let me hop there. Okay. So remember that everything doesn't work for everybody. So you have to make sure that you are using a framework. Definitely using a framework. Make sure that you are keeping a journal. Right, document everything that we're doing. Document everything that you're doing. Document how you're feeling. Make sure that you are mindful as you reintroduce food after the fast, when you break the fast, as we say, make sure that you're planning according to a good schedule. Don't just do it in the middle of craziness, right? Now, once you get used to doing fasting, you may be able to do it with a little bit more stuff going on, but for right now, make sure that you are scheduling this accordingly. Listen to your body. Listen to what the body's telling you. Don't just plunge through. Don't just plow through. Don't just put your head down and keep going. If the body's saying it's time to stop, then it's time to stop. Or saying it's not time to start, then don't start. Make sure that you are staying hydrated. Make sure, because you've got to do that. Make sure that you are starting slow, right? So don't just jump into a 72-hour fast and then set clear goals, right? Make sure you're setting clear goals. All right. Well, anybody, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for stopping by. We are 54 plus hours into the fast, and we'll keep you updated. Hey, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to go to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. Y'all, we're creating the life we've always wanted. And in this year, new you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.